Hello and welcome to the Clark Athletic Center Gymnasium for this, the first ever Little East Conference volleyball game of the season. We've got a good one for you. UMass Boston looking for their fifth 7-0 Little East Conference regular season in program history and third in 4 years against the upstart University of Southern Maine Huskies. They've already wrapped up their first playoff spot since 2013 and just their third since 2000. We'll see which of these top two teams in the Little East Conference in terms of offense can come out victors in this contest. We'll be back right after this break with our entire pregame right here on LittleEast.tv.
Come on, Jake.
As usual, she wins it. A chance in front. Her shot is in the net. Crystal Layden, yet another goal.
Please make a gift to the Beacon Athletic Fund today. We want you on our team.
It's senior day here in Boston as UMass Boston Volleyball will honor the 4 members of this class of 2017 that have had so much success here on the hardwood. This group has won 4 regular season titles. They've won 2 Little East Conference tournament titles, hoping to make it a third when the LEC tournament starts next Tuesday. And they won the 2013 NCAA Regional Crown. This group has helped UMass Boston stay a power in not only the Little East Conference but in New England after graduating some of the top players in program history. The 4 members of this year's senior class: Wheaton College transfer Colleen Cohen in her second year, joined by the 3 four-year members of the team, Pepper Baker, Julia Murphy, and Elizabeth Clavin, 78 and 46 over their 4 seasons, looking to make it 79 and 46, and to finish off their career in Little East Conference regular season play at 30 and 2. They'll see if they can do it right here. So we take a look at the all-time series. UMass Boston owns the lead at 16-11. They've won 11 in a row and have dropped just 2 sets in those 11 matches. The last 9 matches have all gone 3-0 sweeps in favor of the Beacons, including a 3-0 win last year where it was close. 25-23 in the first set, 25-22 in the second set, but the Beacons block was just too much. A 14-2 advantage over the Huskies. We'll see which team can win the block today in a matchup between 2 teams that have some of the top hitters in the conference. Right now, we'll take a look at a promo made by Little East Conference Assistant Commissioner Adam Sopris for tonight's matchup. Welcome back to Boston. My name is Seth Dorensky, bringing you all of the action here from the Clark. It's UMass Boston and Southern Maine here in the final Little East Conference regular season match of the season for UMass Boston. Second to last for the Huskies, who currently sit in a 2-way tie for 5th place with Western Connecticut State. The Huskies and Colonials will meet up in Gorham this weekend with a match at noon on Saturday. We'll take a look right now at the team stats for these two sides. You'll notice offensively pretty similar. The Beacons hitting .255, Southern Maine second in the conference at .203. Both teams pass the ball pretty well. They'll both run 6-2, so you'll see 4 setters throughout this match. The difference is defense. Southern Maine 7th in the conference in digs per set and dead last in block solos, total blocks, and blocks per set. Both teams also serve extremely well, so we'll see if Southern Maine can make up for some of those defensive deficiencies against the top hitting team in the conference. Take a look at the team leaders, and Jessica Williamson, the very talented junior outside hitter for this Southern Maine team, is going to jump off the page. She's 5 kills shy of reaching 400 for a 3rd consecutive season, well on her way to leading the conference in kills for a 3rd straight year and leading the conference in kills per set for a 2nd time in 3 seasons. She's joined by a very talented setter in Megan Nielsen, the senior out of Granby, Connecticut, a 3-time captain on this side. She's 5th in the conference with her 6.03 assists per set. 40 aces, also good for tied for 5th in the conference, both easily the team highs. And she's 3rd on the team in digs and digs per set. She comes into this match 50 assists shy of setting the program record that was set back in 2008. She already has 2,695 assists. On the Beacon side, see a lot of seniors on that group. Julia Murphy took over the team lead in kills over the weekend with 251, just ahead of another senior on this Beacons team. That's Colleen Cohen, who had the team lead for much of the year. She comes in with 247. Murphy easily atop the conference with her .404 hitting percentage. Pepper Baker, one of the Beacons' 3 setters, has 420 assists. Elizabeth Glavin, the 2-time All-American libero, leads the Beacons and the conference with her 508 digs. Murphy, the league leader in blocks and solo blocks, and Eileen Sheet, a sophomore on this Beacons team, leads the program with her 44 aces. We'll take a look right now if we have them out on the court right now. There are a lot of people in the nooks and crannies. We'll take a look at Southern Maine head coach Diane Newell. Newell out there helping out with the team's warm-ups. Newell, in her 3rd season, comes in with a record of 44-43, making her first LAC tournament appearance this fall after finishing 1-6 in each of the past 2 years. She played her collegiate volleyball at Holy Cross and was actually coaching high school in Norton, Mass. before taking the Southern Maine job. So a local here in Boston. On the other side, take a look at the Beacons' 2 head coaches. Terry Condon has had a tremendous career in Boston. The AVCA Hall of Fame inductee went over 250 wins over the weekend at UMass Boston. She stands with 443 career wins. Took a couple of stops in Division I before coming to UMass Boston 12 seasons ago. To her left is the Beacons' co-head coach. That's Michael Houlihan, who's been here for 8 seasons. He's in his 3rd season as the co-head coach, an AVCA 30 under 30 honoree back in 2013. 78 wins as the co-head coach. He's closing in on 200 career wins while with the Beacons. Take a look right now at your Southern Maine starters. This group has been starting most of the matches, although there was one slight change. Phelan Harrington, the middle hitter out of Auburn, New Hampshire, comes in 5th on the team in kills and 3rd in hitting percentage. Nicole Schmitz, sophomore, who's listed as a setter but plays at the outside position. She's 2nd in assists. She's also 4th in digs, 3rd in blocks, and comes in with 117 kills. Good for 2nd best. Not bad for the sophomore setter out of St. Paul, Minnesota. Megan Nielsen, we talked about her, closing in on the program record for career assists. Elena McNally gets the start, the freshman outside out of Marlton, New Jersey. McNally making her 13th appearance, 47 kills on the season, had 10 of them in the team's win over Salem State on Saturday. Robbie Termentozzi, a junior transfer out of Littleton, Colorado, is a co-captain this season, 98 kills on the year. She also has a team-best 24 block solos. Jess Williamson, the do-everything player on this Southern Maine side out of Goffstown, New Hampshire. She already has the program record for kills with 1,327. She's just 28 digs shy of 1,000 as well. and 4th in program history in hitting percentage. This year, 395 kills, 4.7%, both first on the team, 3rd in the conference with their 279 hitting percentage, leads the team with their 262 digs, and 4th on the team in blocks, 2nd in aces. Jessica Williamson truly is the real deal, a do-everything player. Jenna Graves, the freshman libero out of Corinth, Texas. She's 2nd on the team in digs with 237, leads the team with 3.34 digs per set, and has had 13 matches this year with double-digit digs. Right now, we'll bring you the Beacon starting lineup. It looks a little bit different, a little bit more senior-laden, and then we'll bring you Senior Day right here from the Clark Athletic Center Gymnasium.
Hi, I'm Pepper Baker. I'm from the oh-so-classy Tallahassee, Florida, and I'm a senior setter.
Colleen Cohen from Centerville, Massachusetts, senior outside hitter.
I'm Rachel Matslack. I'm a sophomore setter, and I'm from Berlin Center, Ohio.
Hi, I'm Julia Murphy. I'm a senior middle hitter from Canton, Massachusetts.
Hi, I'm Eileen Shee. I'm a sophomore outside hitter from San Francisco, California.
I'm Elizabeth Glavin, senior libero from Edina, Minnesota.
Hi, I'm Sarah Doyle, a freshman middle blocker from Glendale, California.
UMass Boston going with all 4 starters in the starting lineup for the first time in a month to go along with 2 sophomores and 1 freshman. Sarah Doyle, one of a pair of very talented freshmen on this side who have started pretty much every single match. We will see Melanie Fida coming off the bench in the Beacon 6-2 rotation alongside Michelle St. Louis, a sophomore DS out of Dallas, Texas, Right now, we're going to head down court level as soon as the Beacons end their warm-ups in about 1:45, and we'll take Senior Day live here from the Clark. But we'll take a commercial break first before we bring you views of this Senior Day ceremony.
The University of Massachusetts Boston. It's just minutes from downtown, and the Princeton Review calls it one of the best values in the country. A nationally recognized institution of academic excellence and research, UMass Boston offers more than 150 undergraduate and graduate programs, 16 Division III sports, and more than 100 student organizations. To learn more about the opportunities waiting for you at UMass Boston, visit in person or online. UMass Boston, a research university with a teaching soul.
Celebrate the soggy shoes and the slow starts. Celebrate the lessons learned along the way. These are the wins. Not the
It's the 2017 Senior Day, or at least the Senior Day for the class of 2017 here at UMass Boston, as the Beacons will honor one of the most successful senior classes in program history. Already 1 regional title to their name, 2 Little East Conference tournament titles, and 4 Little East Conference regular season titles. The Beacons will be hosting the Little East Conference semifinals a week from Thursday, and then they hope they'll host their 4th championship match in 4 years, although back in 2014, this group's sophomore year, they did fall in the semifinals and had to watch the championship match being played between Eastern and Western Connecticut State. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Clark Athletic Center Gymnasium for today's Little East Conference volleyball match between the Mississippi Huskies of the University of Southern Maine and your UMass Boston Beacons. The first senior to be honored today for UMass Boston will be Pepper Baker out of Tallahassee, Florida. She came into the program as an outside hitter, converted to a setter as a sophomore, and she's already 2nd in program history with her 1,696 career assists. She's also one of the program's better servers of all time as well, as Pepper has consistently been amongst the team and league leaders in service aces every season. Pepper also has tremendous ups for a player who's well short of 6 feet, helps out on the block from time to time as she's joined out there by her mother and her godmother tonight. Pepper was a first-team all-conference selection a year ago, as well as being named the 2015 Little East Conference Tournament MVP. Second senior to be honored today is Colleen Cohen, the senior out of Centerville, Massachusetts, who spent her first 2 years at Wheaton College in the NUMAC Conference, had a very successful career through those 2 seasons, was one of the top hitters for the Lions, but ever since coming over to UMass Boston, she's been such a phenomenal addition to this group. The 3rd best hitter a year ago. This season, she's been the number 1 hitter for most of the season, just barely being edged out right now by Julia Murphy for the team lead in kills. She's tops on the team with her 2.98 kills per set, second with her 247 kills. And she's playing in her 52nd career match today with the Beacons, well, much closer to 100 overall. She's also a phenomenal photographer who helps out with the athletics department. The 3rd senior is Julia Murphy, a 3-time Little East Conference Offensive Player of the Year. Senior out of Canton, Massachusetts, has reset the record books here at UMass Boston. She owns the program record in total blocks, solo blocks, and is just 5 block assists shy of breaking that record as well as closing in on being the number 2 overall hitter in terms of kills here at UMass Boston, as she has just been such a phenomenal addition. She and her sister, Olivia Murphy, who played 4 seasons with the women's basketball team, really providing huge boost to both of those programs after graduating some big senior classes of keeping the Beacons as contenders in both of those sports. Our 4th and final senior is number 14, Elizabeth Glavin, the senior out of Edina, Minnesota, has put together the best career for any libero in program history, and it's not even close. Elizabeth, the first player to reach 2,000 digs in program history. She was an honorable mention All-American 2 seasons ago, a 3rd-team All-American a year ago. You don't see many liberos. In fact, there were just 3 over the 3 ABCA All-American teams a season ago. Elizabeth is in the top 20 this season in digs per game, has 2,309 for her career, and she has played over 120 matches in the Beacons libero jersey, looking to become a 3-time All-American and a 4-time Little East Conference Defensive Player of the Year. It's been a phenomenal group between these 4 Beacons, and it'll be very interesting to see how the Beacons look a year from now on Senior Day, as they're going to be a much younger team that's going to have a couple players have to step up, as all 4 of those players have been, if not starters this year, they've been regular contributors or have appeared in every single match. We're going to take a timeout right now, play you some commercials through the starting lineups. We've already brought you them here on the Beacons Broadcast Network, and then we'll bring you back for the keys to the match and the opening serve here on LittleEast.tv.
Something I discovered in myself is that if I have a goal, and I can accomplish it.
It's a well-rounded experience.
At a Division III school, you primarily a student athlete, so the school is really shaped around you developing yourself as a complete individual.
It helps a lot that you have a family with your team that can guide you.
About to get the opening set here in Beaconville. We'll take a look at the keys to the match for this one, and it all starts with keeping the focus. For UMass Boston, they just went through senior day. Some of their seniors might be a bit emotional knowing this is their final regular season home match played here at the Clark Athletic Center Gymnasium. They need to avoid those emotions and just focus on this match against the Huskies team that is certainly capable of pulling the upset. The second key, make someone other than Jessica Williamson beat you. Williamson, 395 assists on the season. The next hitter in terms of kills, 117, and that's from a converted setter in Nicole Schmidt. So make some of the other players beat you and finally win the block. This is a Beacons team that has over close to 2 blocks per set. Southern Maine dead last in total blocks, solo blocks, and blocks per set. It's a spot where the Beacons should be able to handle the Huskies, and did so a year ago with 20 block assists and 4 solo blocks versus just 2 solo blocks for the Huskies. It'll be Southern Maine to serve first in their road navy blue uniforms with gold numbers. The Beacons in their home blacks with white numbers, as the service coming off the hands of Nielsen. Maslak over to Glavin. The free ball set short in the middle, and it's an easy block for Murphy as she was able to knock that Turman-Tozy dig right down. It'll be Julia Murphy to serve for the Beacons. Not necessarily her strong point, although she has gotten better this season. 28 aces, make it 29. Came in tied for 5th on this Beacons roster. Murphy, 1,183 career kills, needs 8 in this match to move into second. She's behind Hall of Famer Kate White, who went in this season, and assistant coach Shannon Thompson, who will go into the UMass Boston Hall of Fame shortly. Baker out wide finds Colleen Cohen just in front of Graves, the diving libero, and the Beacons out to a strong 3-0 start. This Beacons team is riding a 9-match winning streak, their second of the season, as another good service from Murphy, her second ace in 3 swings. Beacons went 9-0 to start play in New England, then went 1-2 and have won 9 in a row since, in which they've dropped just 2 sets. Murphy, the service error, and it'll be Southern Maine with their second service, coming from Elena McNally. McNally has 6 aces to her name. The freshman out of Marlton, New Jersey, make it 7. She had a very good match against Salem State on Saturday, part of a tri-match in which Southern Maine dropped a conference match against Eastern Connecticut State, the host, 3-0, before coming back and defeating Salem State by an identical 3-0 score. The Beacons making a substitution. Melanie Fida is into the match. Pepper Baker off. Set to the far side. She's able to come up with a dig. Fida immediately gets a swing, but Graves pops it up all the way out wide. Schmidt's unable to come up with the kill. Back out to the far side. Cohen going deep, just a bit too strong. With Baker on the bench, Rachel Maslak will serve as the setter. Maslak, the sophomore out of Berlin Center, Ohio, started the season as the Beacons' second setter. Then she moved to a hitter with Christina Elliott taking over as the second setter. As a big swing from Melanie Fida comes away with the kill. And then moved back into a setting role over the weekend as the Beacons went 3-0 at the Hall of Fame tournament. Colleen Cohen checks out, and it's the first time we've seen Michelle St. Louis, the sophomore DS out of Dallas, Texas, making her 10th appearance on the season. 12 sets. St. Louis, a flat ball that's easily received there. The soft tip, and Maslak an acrobatic play. Glavin setting fight across court. Dug out nicely by Nielsen. Strong swing, the first of the day for Williamson. Doesn't result in a kill. And now the Beacons are going to be called for going over the net. A little bit too far there of the 6'2" reach of Sarah Doyle. Doyle, a freshman middle out of Glendale, California. She's third in the conference with her 69 total blocks. Has 20 solo blocks. She forced to awkwardly go back. an easy reception on the far side. Another big swing from Williamson. Actually, that was Nielsen, the setter, getting some swings. Southern Maine also goes with the 6-2, but Nielsen and Schmitz play all the way around because of how important they are to the team's offense, and Southern Maine doesn't have a ton of big hitters. Vida through the middle, back corner with the kill to push the lead back to 7-5. Elizabeth Glavin will check back in for Sarah Doyle on the Beacon side. Glavin's service goes deep. Graves will receive it. Williamson near side all the way through, and a little bit too strong off the hands of Williamson. Jessica Williamson hits the ball in a very different way than a lot of players. Very strong, good ups as Williamson makes the reception there. Over the head of Murphy on the free ball, and Murphy just barely gets the set from Maslach. A bit of missed timing, and it still works out in the Beacon's favor. 9-4, the Beacon's lead. It's time for their largest of the match thus far. Williamson stands at just 5'7", but such a great swing as Glavin takes advantage of Taylor Zixka just into the match. The freshman outside out of Loveland, Colorado. Another ace for the Beacons, who already have 3 of them. Williamson in tight, unable to get it over, and that's a 4-touch violation to push the Beacons lead to 11-5. And we'll see the first time out from Diane Newell here in set number 1. We'll take a commercial break. After the break, take a look at maybe some highlights from the first set thus far.
I'm the first undergraduate alumnus to lead this university. I'm very proud of that. I was literally able to transform my life because of the University of Massachusetts, and I want that for every single student that walks through the door.
Take a look at a strong swing from earlier in the match from UMass Boston, as the Beacon's already out, and that was the big swing from Colleen Cohen, who's currently on the bench. Cohen, though, who relied so much on finesse when she came to UMass Boston from Wheaton, has become a different player here in year 2, her final season in Beaconville. Big part of that she attributes to athletic performance coach Jeff Ebbs, as the second-year athletic performance coach has done a tremendous job with the Beacons. Another service ace. That's 2 for Murphy, 2 for Glavin, and 4 of the Beacons' 12 points have come from the service line. A 12-5 UMass Boston advantage. Make it 3 back-to-back aces for Glavin as she goes soft, then hard, short, then deep. And right now, Southern Maine is struggling to receive Glavin's service. She had 35 coming into this match. Give her 39 as she picks up 3 in a row. She forced the timeout with an ace, 2 aces before that one, as Williamson finally gets a swing and is able to put it through the block there between Murphy and Vida and down for a kill. But all of a sudden, the Beacons leading 14-6. 6 aces in the set versus 1 error. Williamson on the service. She for Maslach, finding Murphy, pop back over, a strong swing from She, and they're going to call the Beacons for a net violation there. She and Murphy both so eager to crush the free ball that they're going to be called for the infraction. UMass Boston doubling up the Huskies here in set 1 thus far. She on the reception gets it back from Maslach, perfectly placed there just in front of Graves, who wasn't even expecting it, as the ball flew through the block on the far side. Baker in for Vida. Baker, one of the 4 seniors on this year's team, had 35 aces a year ago. This season she has 28 of them. Her service to the near side. And the set, nicely done by Taylor Zixka. Her first swing. Actually, that was Phelan Harrington. Number 3 instead of number 5 there. Harrington came into this match 5th on the team with her 81 kills. Graves' first attempt at serving. Baker for Murphy, punched through, and Graves unable to get there. Jenna attended Lake Dallas High School, where she was an honorable mention all-district player. Comes into this match with 237 digs and 28 aces. Eileen Shee, who leads UMass Boston in aces, at least for the moment. Elizabeth Glavin's catching up quickly, has 4 aces in this first set. Baker Glavin setting the back line for She. Goes back corner. Williamson with the dig. Nielsen out wide. Kept alive there. Nice swing from Nielsen, and she actually got that pass from Schmitz. Trying to get it back over. It's Schmitz into the net, and the Beacons pick up the point. She to serve with the Beacons leading 17-8. That's Schmitz finding a player coming through, but dug out. Baker over on 2, and the Beacons take the point. It was a really nice dig off the swing from Robbie Termantozzi that allowed Baker a little bit of time to put it over. A 10-point Beacons advantage. Eileen Shee, soft service. Graves comes through the middle to receive it. Schmitz for a teammate. Murphy backcourt. What a perfectly placed ball. Going from the near side to the backside, perfectly placing it on the line, and the Beacons lead 19-8. Southern Maine has not taken a set against UMass Boston since 2006, as that's the second Beacon service error. She going wide into the Huskies bench. Nielsen on the service, the third-year captain, off the top of the net and falls on her own side. It's also the second service error on the Huskies. Nielsen and Williamson are setting the record books in their respective go-to categories. Nielsen closing in on the program record in assists. Williamson already owns the program record in kills. Both players should end their careers as 1,000 players, as Murphy picks up an ace. That's 7 for the Beacons in set 1. That's a poor reception there from Nielsen that nearly led to a collision. And then the swing from the back line goes, caught the line according to the back official. Thought that one was going a bit long. Today's up official, Jeff Zinchuk. Down official, Gene Brady. As Cohen goes soft. Williamson to the hardwood, able to keep it alive. Strong swing from Schmitz, and it hits her head on the way back at her. The block towering over her as Fida will come in for Baker. Now the Beacons are making some substitutions. Elliott will check in for Maslak. So the first time we've seen Christina Elliott, the sophomore out of Camas, Washington, who's seen a lot of action this year. She'll come in to serve. And it looked like the Beacons might even go deeper into their bench. Elliott, sophomore setter, second on the team with her 324 assists, 4.38%. It's also second with her 37 aces, or was before this match. What a swing from Williamson. Fida got 2 hands on it, but couldn't keep it from falling right in front of her on her own side, and it's 22-11 in favor of the host Beacons. Termantozzi to serve. She's got 4 aces on the season. Did not play on Saturday against Salem State. Spent her freshman year at the University of Colorado at Boulder before spending a semester at a community college and then transferring to the Huskies, who were unable to get that one back over on the Beacon side, and they have just 2 points left in this set unless they can come away with a big comeback. St. Louis checks back in for UMass Boston in favor of Cohen. Michelle's service, kept alive by Williamson. Nielsen near side, Williamson off the top of the block, off the top of the net, not the block in that instance. Out of balance for an attack error. Last year, Jessica had a strong match against the Beacons in terms of kills, finishing with the match high 11, but also had 13 attack errors, finished the match hitting below 0, and there we've got an attack error, a double touch on the Huskies. That'll do it for set 1. The Beacons 25-11 in this, the first ever Little East Conference volleyball game of the season. We'll take a commercial break, look at the highlights from set number 1, and then take a look around the rest of the conference. A couple of other conference teams in action tonight in this, the final week of the Little East Conference regular season.
I did receive a non-athletic scholarship upon entering school.
I got the presidential scholarship, which was huge for me.
I think there's more opportunities for academic scholarships in Division III.
I did receive academic scholarships. Just being involved on campus, being a leader, all those things combined kind of get me recognized. it's a great experience for me.
Take a look right now at the highlights from that first set, brought to you by the Beacons Broadcast Network. Shortly, Baker out wide finds Colleen Cohen just in front of Graves, the diving libero, and the Beacons out to a strong 3-0 start. Speaking of its coach, Jeff Ebbs, as the second-year athletic performance coach, has done a tremendous job with the Beacons. The service line, a 12-5 UMass Boston advantage. Make it 3 back-to-back aces for a teammate. Murphy backcourt. What a perfect 1,000 players as Murphy picks up an ace. That's 7 for the Beacons, or was before this match. What a swing, but also had 13 attack errors. Finished the match hitting below 0, and there we've got an attack error. Take a look right now at the Little East Conference scoreboard. A couple matches starting at 7 p.m. Rhode Island College at UMass Dartmouth. That's a big one for those two teams, just trying to get their first conference win of the year. Rhode Island College comes in at 0-6. UMass Dartmouth at 0-5. You never want to finish a season without a conference victory. The next one, that's a really interesting match. Rematch of the 2014 Little East Conference Championship match. Those two teams came in picked 2nd and 5th in the conference. Western right now in a tie with the University of Southern Maine at 2-3. With a win, they could leapfrog Eastern Connecticut State. Both teams would be 3-3, but Western would have the tiebreaker, and Western and Eastern could very well be playing next Tuesday in the Little East Conference quarterfinals. The Beacons sitting at 6-0, looking for their 5th 7-0 overall season. Plymouth State is in 2nd at 5-1. Keene State at 4-2. Followed by Eastern, Western, Connecticut State, the University of Southern Maine, and UMass Dartmouth and Rhode Island Colleges. Rachel Maslak will start set number 2 with a strong service, and the Huskies had their first lead of the match. A kill from Elena McNally, just diving in front of Elizabeth Glavin. McNally now on the service. Fida for Maslak, and Doyle almost able to tap it through. The free ball coming out the hands of Termintosi. Maslak for she this time. She's blocked, and it falls in front of a diving Fida. 2-0 Southern Maine. I don't know what Diane Newell told her team during the break, but they've come out fired up after dropping that first set 25-11. Another strong service from McNally, and it's kept alive. Termintosi got a bit of it. Williamson can't get it over. Blocked at the net. Near side now. And it's perfectly placed by Schmitz. Southern Maine, their best run of the match with 3 straight points. And they hold a 3-0 advantage here to start set 2. McNally into the net. That's a killer. Third service error for the Huskies, who have 1 ace and 3 errors. The Beacons in that first set, 7 aces versus 2 errors. UMass Boston hit 368 in set 1. Southern Maine finished at an even 0. 5 kills, 5 errors. Far side for Williamson. Top of the tape, kept alive on the Beacons side. Maslak for a flat-footed Cohen. Easily handled by Williamson. She wants it back. Instead, it'll go near side. Schmitz down the line. Doesn't catch the block, and the Beacons will cut the deficit to 3-2. Looking at the leaders in that first set, Julia Murphy, 3 kills on 5 attacks, hitting .600. As that one is handled by Taylor Zixka. Cohen for Maslak, and a strong swing from Fida. Tap back across, and that hits the underside of the scoreboard. Automatically a point for the Beacons, who have responded with a 3-point run of their own. 5 assists for Rachel Maslak in the first set for the Beacons, 3 for Pepper Baker. 3 aces for Julia Murphy, 4 for Elizabeth Glavin, as Williamson absolutely obliterates the ball. Nothing Glavin could do on that one. The Beacons with 9 digs in that first set, 3 for she and 3 for Glavin, as UMass Boston had 2 solo blocks, 1 from Colleen Cohen, 1 from Julia Murphy. On the other side, Jessica Williamson, the only player with multiple kills for Southern Maine in set 1. She had 2 of them. against 3 errors. 1 kill apiece for McNally, Nielsen, and Harrington. 2 assists apiece for Nicole Schmitz and Megan Nielsen. The 1 ace came from Elena McNally, who does look to be the best server on this team, and a team best 3 digs from Jenna Graves. Southern Maine did not record a block in that first set, did have 1 block error. Far side for Williamson, backing away from it. Glavin, near side, Cohen flat-footed, tries to find the back line and does so. The Beacons with their first lead of the set at 5-4. Here in set 2, UMass Boston took the first set 25-11 on senior day. Glavin with 4 aces in the match, can't find a 5th on this one. Swing from Schmitz, kept alive. Murphy out wide. An easy kill there as the Beacons set the slide and Murphy able to pound that ball off the block and into the Huskies bench. 2-point advantage for the Beacons. Glavin going soft. Graves comes in and commands the ball. Out wide for Williamson. You're not going to get that. Glavin is working really hard to try to cut down the angle for Jessica Williamson, but if the Beacons block doesn't get in front of it, it's going to be a point more often than not. Schmitz's service kept alive. Fida goes through the block, and there wasn't much that time that Zixka could do about it. I asked the Beacons coaching staff and some of their players today after seeing all 6 teams previously to this in the conference who the most impressive player was outside of their own team, and they said that Williamson, they hadn't seen her in person yet this year, but her gaudy stats and some of the stuff they saw on tape was certainly very impressive, and you can see why Jessica Williamson is on her way to a 3rd consecutive kill title. I don't know if that's the right word for it, as Maslach nearly comes up with the kill. Williamson from well behind the 3-meter line and picks up the kill nonetheless. We're even at 7s here in set 2, as Southern Maine has come out with a different kind of fire. It was 11-5 UMass Boston the first set before the first timeout, and Williamson picks up the ace. Had 38 of them coming into the match, 2nd most. Just the 2nd of the day for Southern Maine. Baker, back set, Fida with the tip. Graves keeping it alive. Schmitz across, Harrington unable to get the kill. Fida looking to go back line and beats Williamson, who was cheating a bit to the far side. All even at 8 in set number 2 of this Little East Conference game of the season. Fida going to the back line, and McNally unable to handle it. It's the Beacons' first ace of the set, their 8th overall versus just 2 errors. Melanie Fida looking for a second, and she gets it. McNally diving out of bounds there. That might have been going wide. Melanie an outside out of Park Ridge, Illinois, just a freshman. And that might be her 3rd, but it keeps inbounds. Baker looking for Murphy. Set just a bit too strong. Murphy stayed up there as long as she could, unable to get it. Fida with those 2 aces, up to 36 on the season. She's 4th on the team in kills, 5th in hitting, 3rd in blocks. As Glavin able to keep that one alive. She off the block and out of bounds. UMass Boston nursing a 2-point lead in what has been a very competitive 2nd set. Murphy's service, too strong. 3rd error of the day. Make it 4th error of the day for the Beacons. Murphy's 2nd versus 3 aces. It'll be Nielsen on the service. She for Baker. Doyle punches it through, but Graves is there. Nielsen out wide for McNally, off the hands of the block, off of Glavin's hands. And we've got ourselves an 11-11 match, almost at the midway point of the 2nd set. Nielsen's float serve, easily handled. She, soft little tip, off the block, and falls in front of Nielsen there, who was partially shaded there with the 2 players in front of her on the block. Christina Elliott will check in as the Beacon setter, with both Maslach and Baker taking a seat. UMass Boston using all three of their setters frequently through the first two sets. Elliott, a good service onto the hands of Nielsen. Out wide for McNally, who's been very busy here in set two. Elliott for Cohen, and she crushes that shot. Not much that Jenna Graves could do, as she was just left standing in her stance, looking at where that ball had been a moment ago. Elliott has been very strong here at home throughout her career. Fida on the handle. Glavin right back for Fida from very deep. Kept alive by Nielsen. Schmitz to McNally, who pops it over. Now it's a little bit out of rotation, and Schmitz will put it across softly. Elliott looking for She. Soft tap just in front of Graves. 13-11, make it 14-11 now in favor of the Beacons. Looking for their 7th consecutive Little East Conference victory. This team has lost just one regular season match against conference foes over the past 4 years. Came last year in their first match, a road match at Eastern Connecticut State. UMass Boston went on to win the last 6 and to earn their 3rd consecutive Little East Conference regular season title for this senior class, their 7th overall. Beacons have now won 8 consecutive, which is more regular season titles than any other team in the conference. Taylor Zixka will check on for Elena McNally. Zixka was an all-state player at Mountain View High School. Termintosi is blocked, put back across. Elliott really awkwardly there as she and Fida were occupying the same spot, and it's an easy point for the Huskies. UMass Boston leading 15-13, took the first set 25-11, but Southern Maine came out and took the first 3 points of this set, and they've been in it ever since. Termintosi's service goes well wide. Just the 3rd service ace for the Huskies versus 3rd service error versus 2 service aces. Glavin back in for Doyle as Glavin tries to pick on Ziska. Out wide, Williamson, and it's blocked on the Beacon side. Williamson was up there for a while, and that ball just getting over the net as Terry Condon up off the bench, upset with her side. Scoreboard reads 17-13. It should actually be the opposite. We should be even at 15s after that service ace, as I think the scoreboard operator thought that the ball ended up on the Beacon side. Service there, and another ace. That's 2 for Zixka. Gonna get a Beacons timeout, and we'll take a commercial break and try to sort out the score. And now it looks potentially right at 16-15, and maybe even 16-16 at this point.
Moving from Turkey, it was a rough journey for me because when you don't really speak the language that well and when you don't really fit in the crowd, it's very easy to disappear. But I decided not to give up, and UMass helped me.
Take a look at UMass Boston's social media platforms. You can follow the Beacons on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at UMass Beacons. You can also follow the conference office for all things social media. The conference office recently adding Facebook to go along with the Twitter page, the Instagram page, and YouTube, as all of those can be found at Little East Conf, C-O-N-F. Service there is too strong. Actually hits the line judge there on the foot. And the Beacons will take the lead at 17-16. There was a bit of confusion over 1 point, and then an ace directly after it caused the scoreboard operator to get a little bit off, and now it is officially 17-16 in favor of the Beacons. Baker's float service. Ziska really can't handle it. Beautiful play by Williamson as some of the people at the scorer's table nearly touched that ball thinking it was going over. And in the end, it's Rachel Maslak coming away with a ginormous kill. Ball bouncing just in front of Nicole Schmitz. UMass Boston with the 2-point lead. It's about as large of a lead as they've had here in set 2 after dominating the first set. Nielsen looking for Williamson, unable to get the kill. Now Murphy a soft tip. What a play by Williamson to keep it alive. Near side, it's Schmitz with the swing. Murphy over once again, kept alive by Schmitz. Williamson the soft punch. Murphy for Baker. Near side for Maslach, kept alive by Zixka. What a point we've got going. Williamson is blocked down, and it lands just barely inbounds. By far the best point that we've seen today. We'll take another look at that one, as both teams had some beautiful digs, some really strong swings, and the Beacons able to come away with the block. Baker's strong service, kept alive by Nicole Schmitz. A diving effort there from St. Louis to keep it alive, and St. Louis will put it across. Soft little tip coming. Baker didn't see it until the last moment, able to keep it alive off the hands of Harrington. And finally, it's Williamson through the hands of Fida and Murphy for a point. UMass Boston leads 19-17 in the second set, 1-0 in the match, but this second set has been very tight. Murphy looking towards the line, and she does catch it, much to the chagrin of the Huskies, who thought it was going long. Michelle St. Louis checks out. Eileen Shee back in for the Beacons. Got a pretty good crowd for a Tuesday night at 6 here. A lot of the baseball players, the friends and family of these 4 seniors coming out to support the Beacons. Murphy on the slide, and Schmitz backing away from it, unable to get the dig. Beacons with their largest lead of the set at 21-17. Melanie Fida way too strong on that service. Second time we've already seen a line judge nearly get hit. See what Jenna Graves can do. Graves a soft service. Murphy on the front line gets it. She coming through, and she hits the hardwood hard on that one. Doyle back in for Glavin on the Beacons side. Julian Murphy to serve. She had 3 aces in that first set. Finds the hands of Williamson. Schmitz looking for Nielsen, and it's long. Didn't catch the block, and the Beacons 2 points away from a second set victory. Make sure to stick around for our second set intermission show. We'll have highlights and a look around the rest of Beaconville, as Murphy just a bit too strong. A beautiful read from Williamson, who backed out of the way confidently on a ball that missed by a matter of inches. Nielsen on the service. Fida, a poor reception, but the Beacons able to get it back. She down line, and it did not catch the block according to the up official. It's a 3-point Beacons lead. The Beacons bench players cheering on their teammates. Southern Maine been very vocal all match long. Nielsen, a beautiful float service. Baker near side for Shee, able to put it over, and it just misses the line. UMass Boston seems out of sorts here. They've already used 1 timeout, have 1 remaining. And we'll see Emily Steinberg check in as a backline replacement for Melanie Fida. Steinberg, the sophomore DS out of Moore Park, California. She on the handle for Baker, looking for Doyle, and she puts it right in the middle of that defense. A difficult read for the Huskies. UMass Boston with set point here. They'll bring Colleen Cohen and Christina Elliott back on. Maslach and Baker out, and it'll be Elliott to serve. Beacon's second best server statistically coming into this match. Can she come up with an ace? Elliott deep. Graves keeps it alive. Schmitz forced backwards, and Williamson will have to put it across flat-footed. Elliott looking for Shee, able to power through, and the Beacons take the second set, 25-21. UMass Boston leads in the match 2-0 here on LittleEast.tv. We'll be back after this commercial break with a look at the highlights and a look around Beaconville here at the Clark Athletic Center Gymnasium.
Division III allows you to give yourself to other things.
Having that free time allows me to pursue the things that I want to pursue.
Division III in athletics affords students the opportunity to, engage in the other interests in their campus and in their lives outside of that sport.
It allows you to just be able to do everything you want to do. I'll win, change it for the world.
I'm a Division III student athlete, and I know how powerful words can be. The term gay doesn't mean stupid, lame, or less than.
So I pledge to speak up if I hear the term gay used in a derogatory way or any other homophobic terms.
If you can play in Division III.
I'm a Division III student athlete, and my teammates unconditionally accepted me as part of their family. So now I pledge to do the same for others. If you can play in Division III.
Take a look right now at the highlights from set number 2. The Beacons took it. It was close, but a 25-21 set 2 victory. Tozy. Maslak for she this time. She's blocked, and it falls in front of a diving fighter. Julia Murphy 4 for Elizabeth Glavin as Williamson absolutely. Tozy. Maslak for she this time. She's blocked, and it falls in front of a diving fighter. Julia Murphy 4 for Elizabeth Glavin as Williamson absolutely. Schmitz kept alive. Murphy out wide. An easy kill. Graves comes in and commands the ball. Out wide for Williamson. You're not going to get that. Maslak nearly comes up with the kill. Williamson from well behind the 3-meter line and picks up the kill nonetheless here in set 2. Elliott for Cohen, and she crushes that shot. The lead as they've had here in set 2 after dominating the first set. Nielsen looking for Williamson, unable to get the kill. Now Murphy a soft tip. What a play by Williamson to keep it alive. Near side, it's Schmitz with the swing. Murphy over once again, kept alive by Schmitz. Williamson the soft punch. Murphy for Baker. Near side for Maslak, kept alive by Zixka. What a point we've got going. Williamson is blocked down, and it lands just flat-footed. Elliott looking for she, able. Take a look right now around Beaconville. One other UMass Boston fall team in action tonight. That's the women's soccer team. They're at Bridgewater State tonight at 7 p.m. The men's soccer team moved up in one of the national polls, down in another. They come in at number 12/13 when they head to Mass Maritime Academy tomorrow in their final non-conference regular season match. And all the cross-country teams in the conference will compete in the Little East Conference Championship meet on Saturday at UMass Dartmouth. Third set has started, and Southern Maine does it with the bag. A very short service from Megan Nielsen, picking up the ace. Southern Maine had 1 ace in the first set. They're up to 5 now versus 6 errors as she comes through, and a beautiful play by Megan Nielsen, but the swing too strong from McNally. In that second set, the Beacons hit 483. Southern Maine, though, 206, much better than the first set. For the match, the Beacons are hitting 438. Southern Maine 132 as she onto the hands of Graves. It's Schmitz, a big swing from McNally, but she's blocked. The Beacons now with 4 blocks for the match versus 1 for Southern Maine. UMass Boston 9 aces, 6 errors. Southern Maine 5 aces, 6 errors. Schmitz goes over on 2. She is there. Elliott, a beautiful job to set Doyle, and Doyle comes up with the kill. It's her 3rd on 6 swings today. The Beacons are led by 6 kills apiece from Murphy and she. 5 from Melanie Fida. On the other side, 8 from Jess Williamson. And Southern Maine is out of rotation, leading to the quick whistle on the service from Eileen Shee. 8 kills on 22 swings from Williamson, who's having another big match. She's been phenomenal throughout her 3-year career with the Huskies. Near side for McNally, blocked, catches the antenna, and it'll go for a Huskies point. Southern Maine will send McNally to the bench and Zixka in. Zixka appearing in her 19th match, 50th set on the year, 13 kills, 19 aces, and 106 digs coming into this one. It's Doyle back line, and Zixka taking an awkward angle to that one, just cutting it a bit too short, unable to get to it. The Beacons leading 5-2 with Elizabeth Glavin stepping to the service line. UMass Boston looking to move to 23-3. Near side, Williamson blocked. Fida and Murphy able to get the hands on that one. And that might be one of the 5 block assists that Murphy needs to break Molly Radigan's block assist program record. Another awkward handle on the service reception from Zixka, and she's able to come up with the kill. Hit that one so softly the Beacons weren't expecting it. Murphy has 1 solo block through the first 2 sets in the official statistics. Turman Tozy on the service, down the line. Fida handles it. Elliott looking for Cohen, off the hands of Phelan Harrington and down on the Husky side. Harrington will check out. Graves back in there. This Southern Maine team seems to be in really good spirits despite the deficit. Got Western Connecticut State on Saturday. A win in that match, and the Huskies would end the season in 5th place, take on the 4th place team in the Little East Conference Tournament instead of the 3rd place team next Tuesday, a week from today. So there's an ace for Pepper Baker, 10th of the day for the Beacons. And the first for Pepper, who had 1 service error on 5 total swings in the first 2 sets. Ziska, the free ball across. Glavin for Baker. Murphy makes the Huskies pay. Just too much. The 6'2" Julia Murphy feasting upon the Huskies front line there. Only 1 player on this Huskies team is listed at over 6 foot. The Beacons have 5 of them. And Murphy not only is over 6 feet, but she can also jump out of the gym. Baker picks up her 2nd service ace of this run, and the Beacons are more than tripling up the Huskies here in set 3 at 10-3. Baker's service is very deep, but Graves handles it. And now Harrington finding Williamson. Not much she could do with that one. Fida cross court, handled nicely there by Nielsen. Williamson cross court, somehow able to get the kill without jumping. Beacons were a bit out of rotation, or out of system there, with Glavin well out of position, but Williamson still impressive as she's closing in on double-digit kills. Baker from Maslak, softly done and perfectly done there. Maslak too far away from the net to get a big swing, and just able to put it off the hands of the Huskies into the net and down. Fida on the service, low line drive, handled by Ziska. Near side for Williamson, off the block. Baker is there. Glavin setting Maslak off the block, popped up and kept alive. It'll be put over there by Nielsen. Fida, Baker looking for Shee. Not sure if that one ever quite made it across, but they're going to keep the point going. Williamson, cross court for Shee. Baker back set for Murphy, and it's blocked down on the Husky side. Some really nice volleyball on that point. We've seen 2 or 3 points today where they've been able to extend the point, these 2 sides, and really have some nice rallies. Ziska, far side. It's Nielsen put deep, and a nice placement there by Phelan Harrington for the kill. UMass Boston is so eager to get some of these big blocks and these big swings close to the net that a couple times they've been caught cheating, leading to some easy points for the Huskies. Strong service there from Williamson, forces the accidental over. Murphy with a big block alongside Shee, and Southern Maine forced to put it over on the top of the net, just barely. Shee, a laser over the shoulder of Schmitz, and another big kill for the sophomore out of San Francisco, California. Murphy's float service, kept alive by Williamson, coming through and unable to get it over that time was Phelan Harrington. She was sort of in between on her swings, originally looked for power, then she tried to go to the tip and just couldn't get either across the net. UMass Boston leading by 9 and 2-0 in this match. The Huskies running out of time to make a comeback. Murphy's service straight into the netting. And it'll be a big side out for Southern Maine. Julia will head to the bench with Michelle St. Louis checking back in. Jenna Graves on the service, very short off the top of the net. Maslak for St. Louis. And now it's coming through. Turman Tozy off the block, over the scorer's table and down for a Southern Maine point. Back-to-back points for the Huskies. who trail by 7. She, for Baker, right back to her off the block and kept alive. Baker over on 2. Schmitz was a little bit delayed in her reaction, but kept it alive. Baker over on 2 once again. McNally handles it easily. Back set there for Nielsen, and she's blocked out. Megan Nielsen stands at 5'7". She's playing as an outside when it's Schmitz's turn to set. And she just had no chance there against the Beacons. 6'2" freshman out of Glendale, California. 8-point Beacons lead with Christina Elliott heading to the service line. McNally gets it back from Schmitz, punches it across. Cohen, a nice job defensively, gets it back from Elliott, off the block and down for a Beacons point. Aside from set number 2, where the Huskies were able to jump out to a big lead and use that confidence, and I say a big lead, I mean 3, this match has been all UMass Boston, the first and the third, as the Beacons 9 points away from a 3-0 match victory. We'll take a commercial break and then be back with the conclusion of this match here on LittleEast.tv.
What separates UMass Boston from other schools is the fact that a large percentage of students commute. For me, it takes 2 hours each day to go to and from school, but every second has been worth it because the students that come here are serious about learning, they value their education, and understand where it'll take them in the future. This is what UMass Boston means to me.
Make sure to check out LittleEast.com for all the postseason coverage. The women's tennis tournament has already started. In fact, it was supposed to conclude on this past Saturday, but because of bad weather, they pushed it back. Bridgewater State hosting Rhode Island College. The women's volleyball, men's soccer, and women's soccer tournaments will all start next week. And, of course, the cross-country teams will be in action this week at the New England Alliance Little East Conference Championship, hosted by UMass Dartmouth. Christina Elliott's service, a line drive into the netting. And Diane Newell's timeout works that time as she forces the side out. Megan Nielsen back to serve. Soon to be, or should be, the program record holder for assists by the end of this season. What a swing from Khalid Cohen. Another kill for the senior out of Centerville. Southern Maine going forward will play at Riviere on Thursday. A very strong side out of the Great Northeast Athletic Conference. Southern Maine tried to go over on 2 unsuccessfully. Doyle tried to go over on 1. And now McNally almost had the kill if not for a great play by Glavin. Line drive swing from Cohen that's kept alive. McNally strong swing onto the hands of Shee. Cohen once again tips it through. Put back over Doyle. A nice swing. And Southern Maine played some great defense to stay alive at this point. Elliott for Fida. Another beautiful dig there by Williamson. Near side, McNally looking for the kill. Denied by Glavin. Doyle gets a third chance, and this time she gets the kill. Southern Maine will finish off the regular season at home on Saturday. Western Connecticut State at noon. Unity College at 4. That'll be the Huskies senior day. Before playing the Little East Conference quarterfinals for the first time since 2013. They'll need a win either in this match or on Saturday to earn a higher seed. They'd have to win both matches to potentially host that quarterfinal matchup. The Beacons will head on the road for their final 4 matches of the Little East Conference regular season. As Elliott finds Cohen, who's blocked, and it goes down. Turman-Tosi and Schmitz in there. Turman-Tosi, the top blocker on this team, and a big one there. Beacons will head to Texas, where they'll take on Augsburg College and the University of Mary Hardin Baylor on Friday. Big swing from Williamson off the top of the net and down. As Southern Maine has cut the deficit to 18-11. The Beacons will then take on host Trinity University and Hardin-Simmons University on Saturday before heading back to New England. Big swing from Sarah Doyle is blocked well out of bounds. And the Beacons 6 points away from a match victory. Remember, 6 teams out of the 8 teams in the Little East Conference make it. both of these teams have clinched their spots. Another service error from the Beacons, who have made a bit more here in the second and third after doing a really nice job in that first set, setting the tone from the service line. Fida, a nice reception to keep it alive. Flat-footed from the back line. Williamson is there. Tapped across by Nielsen. Nielsen now a back set, and it's put down by Colleen Cohen, who was well over the net, in my opinion, coming across. That's what Diane Newell thought as well, but the officials ruling otherwise. That was an intended set for the Huskies, and Cohen just came across and tapped it down with the left hand. Baker's service floats it across. Graves unable to handle it. And another service ace for Pepper Baker. UMass Boston should easily be in double digits in terms of their service aces at this point. They lead by 9 in the third set. Took the first 25-11, the second 25-21 as that one's tapped across. Baker is there. Maslach accidentally over. Williamson, a bomb, but just a bit too strong. 10-point Beacons advantage, needing just 3 points to take the match. Baker trying to serve this one out on senior day. Baker's service. Graves able to keep it alive, and Fida sort of got handcuffed there, put it across but wide. 21-13. That was a great service by Pepper Baker, just Beacons unable to handle the accidental over. Schmitz returns the favor with the service error, and it's back to a 10-point lead. This match started 5 minutes late because of senior day, and it could easily be the Beacons' third straight home match victory, in which it's lasted less than an hour, as she goes deep, 23-14. Currently 6:59 on the East Coast. Michelle St. Louis will check in for Melanie Fida. The Beacons, not only the top team in the Little East Conference this year, at least in terms of the standings, also one of the top teams in New England as Murphy goes deep. Schmitz is there. Nielsen looking for McNally, kept alive by Glavin. Baker for she off the top of the net, and it falls on the Beacons positive, falling on the Huskies side, and the Beacons have match point. UMass Boston was third in the New England regional rankings that came out last week, the first from the NCAA. All the teams around them but Johnson and Wales suffered a loss last week, so we'll see if the Beacons move past number 1 Tufts. Johnson and Wales has still lost just the one set on the season. 24-15, the Beacons lead, trying to close it out. Graves on the service. Maslach at the front line with the reception. She comes through off the block, and the Beacons win it in 3 sets. 25-11, 25-21, 25-15. Folks, stick around. We'll have an interview with co-head coach Michael Houlihan as the Beacons wrap up the home portion of their regular season with a 9-1 record here at the Clark. Bringing you some commercials and then that post-game interview, highlights and the final stats, all on the Beacons post-game show here on LittleEast.tv.
The 5-campus UMass system is the university that educates the workforce of Massachusetts. We recognize that we are truly here for a reason, and that recognition inspires us and drives us every single day.
Cheer for the stumbles, the he shoulda had that's, and the tears that linger. For in those moments, greatness lies. There, you will find the provoked, the determined, the unified. It's in those moments that champions are born.
UMass Boston is my first choice because of the incredible theater department.
Because it has an excellent honors college.
Because here I get to interact with professors one-on-one.
Because I'm not going to be crazy in debt when I graduate.
Because at UMass Boston, I've met professors who have changed my life.
My first choice.
My first choice.
My first choice.
My first choice.
Make the University of Massachusetts Boston your first choice. Visit umb.edu/first choice.
And welcome back to the Clark Athletic Center Gymnasium, joined by co-head coach Michael Houlihan. Coach, certainly a special day. You celebrate your 4 seniors who have had such a successful career here in Beaconville. Can you talk about their contributions and the fact that they were able to put away the emotions? All 4 had really strong matches today.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously they have had terrific careers. I mean, they're all great players, and senior night's always tough because it always does come with a bunch of emotions, and it kind of all let it out before the match, but they were able to regroup and be able to get it together, and they all had terrific matches, and it's what we expect from them all the time.
You guys talk about winning the regular season as your first goal. 7-0 is a slightly different goal, but for the 3rd time in 4 years, the 5th time overall, how important is that sort of just to make that statement that this is not just your conference in terms of regular season standings, but that you can beat every single team and are ready to go in the postseason?
I mean, the conference schedule is really what we preach all the time. We only care about going 7-0 in conference, and everything else is just kind of preparing us for the next step. But it just allows us to really separate our goals out, and that's the early goal, and it's good to get a win against everybody. But the good thing is they've worked hard for them, but we know that that's not going to mean anything come playoffs. Everybody has a 0-0 record as of next week, and we know that we have to work hard, and we're ready to see some of these teams again, and we got to work hard this next week and a half to make sure we come out of those with W's.
Well, you won't play another match here in New England until next Thursday. You head to Texas this weekend. 4 tough teams, some really good competition. What do you need to work on heading into that tournament, playing some teams that might be a bit bigger, a bit stronger than you see here in New England?
Yeah, it's going to be a tough weekend. I mean, it's going to be a really good indicator on where we really are, and we got to make sure that we go back to practice tomorrow and we go at it and we make sure we work hard on cleaning things up. I think a little too many errors tonight. It's kind of been our MO the last few weeks, and we just got to clean it up and make sure we're playing a little bit nicer volleyball in that sense, and kind of just see where it takes us this weekend. And like I said, it really doesn't matter. Conference is the only thing that matters, but it'll be a good indicator to see where we're at heading into NCAAs.
Thanks so much for your time, Coach. The Beacons finish up the regular season here at home at 9-1. We'll take a look back up top with the highlights and then the final stats here on LittleEast.tv. It's Schmitz, a big swing from McNally, but she's blocked. The Beacons, Schmitz goes over on 2. She is there. Elliott, a beautiful job to set Doyle, and Doyle comes up with the kill. 3 near side. Williamson blocked. Fida and Murphy able to get the hands off. Glavin for Baker. Murphy makes the Huskies pay. Just too much. Cross court, handled nicely there by Nielsen. Williamson cross court, somehow able to get the far side. It's Nielsen put deep, and a nice placement there on the top of the net, just barely. A laser over the back set there for Nielsen, and she's blocked down. Strong side out of the Great Northeast Athletic Conference. Southern Maine tried to go over on 2 unsuccessfully. Doyle tried to go over on 1. And now McNally almost had the kill if not for a great play by Glavin. Line drive swing from Cohen that's kept alive. McNally strong swing onto the hands of Cohen once it again, tips it through, put back over Doyle. A nice swing, and Southern Maine played some great defense to stay alive at this point. Elliott for Fida, another beautiful dig there by Williamson. Near side, McNally looking for the kill, denied by Glavin. Doyle gets a 3rd chance. Maslak at the front line with the reception. She comes through off the block, and the Beacons win it in 3. Welcome back to Boston for the conclusion of our post-game show. We'll take a look at the final statistics first. UMass Boston hitting .405 for the match. Southern Maine at .106. The Beacons with big leads in assists and digs. Blocks were a lot closer than a year ago, but UMass Boston still came away with a 6-2 advantage and 12 aces versus 5. The Beacons committing 9 service errors, Southern Maine 7. So relatively competitive there when you balance out the errors, but the Beacons dominating in terms of overall aces as they came in at number 1 in the conference. Southern Maine came in at number 2, and they more than double up the Huskies. We'll take a look at the team leaders from this match. Eileen Shee with the team best 9 kills. Julia Murphy hitting .571 for the Beacons, one of 2 players who finished with 8 kills for the Beacons. Jess Williamson a team high 10 kills, although it was Phelan Harrington who hit .286. Williamson hit a lot better than she did a year ago, finishing the match at .125. Pepper Baker with 16 of the Beacon's 38 kills. 3 players finished in double digits for UMass Boston, Maslak and Elliott with 10 apiece. On the other side, it was Nielsen with 11, Schmitz with 9 of the team's 22 overall ones. Elizabeth Glavin, a little bit lower than her normal numbers, but still led the match with 13 digs. For Southern Maine, Williamson and Jenna Graves had 8 digs apiece. On the block, Sarah Doyle had 3 of the Beacon's 6 blocks. The leader for Southern Maine, Robbie Termintosi, who came in with the team lead in blocks, and Elizabeth Glavin had 4 aces for UMass Boston, just ahead of Pepper Baker and Julia Murphy, who had 3 each. On the other side, Nicole Schmitz had 2 of the team's 5 aces. We'll take a look ahead right now for UMass Boston. They're heading to Texas this week. They'll take on Augsburg College, who's regionally ranked, Mary Hardin Baylor on Friday, and then the host Trinity University, Texas on Saturday before they close out the regular season against Hardin Simmons. That's a 2 p.m. match, the final of 4 matches the Beacons will play in Texas. Let's take a look at our production crew who did a great job today in this Little East Conference game of the season. My name is Seth Dorensky. Our directors, Anthony Searles and Alex Carasoto. Josh Ruffin on replay. Roxanne Vento, Josh Lopez, Charlie Hughie, and Sal Frascino were your camera operators. Remember, the Little East Conference tournament starts on Tuesday night, the quarterfinals. The Beacons will be back here next Thursday with the Little East Conference semifinals. Thanks so much for watching, folks. Have a great rest of your night.